going on, everybody? This is Lady Luck here again. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I just want to do some quick update and show some information regarding the Macron case against Candace Owens because, at some point she's going to learn. Oh, girl, you're going to learn. So let's tune into the court information on the docket and let's see what's happening with this case here. And I am, yes, doing a faceless video because I am exhausted and I needed some rest. So make sure you guys hit that like button. The more likes, the more energy I get. And of course, I will be going live on tomorrow. We will have John Wilson on as our guest, speaking about the dangerous rhetoric of Candace Owens, because I'm going to be covering the topic of the Nicholas Ray case where he has threatened Christian conservatives who are pro-Israel simply because he's, taking words and wisdom, I guess, from Candace Owens. And Candace, you should be ashamed of yourself. So hopefully these people start filing lawsuits against her like the Macrons did. Shout out to Brigitte and Emmanuel Macron for showing the rest of us how it's done. So if we go down to the case, you guys see the case ID number, and that is N as in Nancy 25 C as in Candace dash 07 dash 194 Emmanuel Macron, and that includes Brigitte Macron versus Candace Owens et al. For this defamation case. This was filed back on July 23rd of 2025, people. And then you guys see that I'm scrolling down. This is in the Superior Court in the state of Delaware. And the judge in the case is Sheldon K. Rennie. And of course, you see both parties' information. So I've gone over a lot of the case activity previously, but I want to just bring you guys attention to the most recent update to the case here. So there is a notice that was submitted to the court on October 14th and docketed October 22nd, 2025. Order signed by Judge Rennie on an amicus brief that was received on October 14, 25 from a non-party and rejected by the court. So a non-party submitted over an amicus brief to this case. Why? I don't know. On whether it was in favor of or on behalf of the defendant or the petitioner, I don't know. I don't see the information. I have not been able to find it. And as soon as I do, you all will be the first to know. But of course, the case is the brief was denied. It was rejected by the judge. This case is, involving a defamation case from a world leader, from the president of France, because Candace Owens continued to call Brigitte Macron, his wife, a man, and said that she was born a man, she would die a man, and all these things where she continues to double down with no scientific evidence, and said that she would stake her entire professional career on it, and purported it to be a fact. And even after they have tried to correct the record, they sent exhibits and documents to show her that she's wrong and to cease with the defamatory and derogatory statements that are just inherently false. I mean, you don't have any DNA to prove that someone is born a man, then you don't sit here and just say they're born a man. That's not based on your opinion. That can be supported with science. And that's something Candace does not have. And so it's interesting to see this, someone submitted an amicus brief. And of course, being a non-party to the case. And I'm curious to know what it is about. That's why I want to get my hands on it. But this is a notice. So what I expect to see next in the activity is the order itself that was signed by the judge rejecting the actual amicus brief here. So this is a notice just to let people know that this was submitted The judge rejected it, and then the next activity that I should see in this docket is the order itself. Um, but if anybody can get their hands on that court document, please do, and email me a copy at LadyLuckClubLLC at yahoo.com. So let's go over to what exactly is an amicus brief. All right, so an amicus curia brief, or an amicus brief for short, is a legal document submitted to the court by an individual or organization not directly involved in the case. The term is Latin for friend of the court. You all see that here, and it allows outside parties to provide information or perspective. These filings are most common in appellate courts, especially when cases involve significant public interest or could establish a broad legal precedent. Purpose of an amicus brief, filers aim to educate judges on the broader context of a case, moving beyond the specific facts that bind the direct litigants. This can involve highlighting how a potential ruling might affect entire industries, areas of public policy, or groups of people who are not parties to the suit. The briefs provide a bigger picture perspective, ensuring that judicial decisions are made with a fuller understanding of their potential real world consequences. They can introduce legal theories or supplement the arguments made by the parties with specialized knowledge. Who can file an amicus brief? A wide range of individuals and entities can file amicus briefs provided they have a substantial interest in the outcome of a case. Advocacy organizations like the American Civil Liberties Union, ACLU, often submit briefs in cases involving constitutional rights. Trade associations and corporations participate when a court's decision could establish a precedent that affects their industry's operations or financial health. I want you all to just pay attention to that for a moment. Candace Owens, who's not only being sued in her personal capacity, but also in her professional capacity as Candace Owens LLC, has often stated that this case would bankrupt her. Is it possible that the Candace Owens LLC or even Georgetown Inc. may have submitted an amicus brief to try to express to the judge that this case could possibly bankrupt it? I'm just asking questions here. I'm just asking questions here. You know, the same thing Candace Owens claims she does when she doesn't. But I'm actually asking questions based on the information here, based on what we're seeing in the court docket here. And for it to be rejected, I'm just curious to know, did someone submit an amicus brief to the court trying to maybe perhaps, you know, express to the judge that if this lawsuit prevails, and let's say the petitioners win, which I perceive them winning, it could maybe bankrupt Candace Owens or Candace Owens LLC or Georgetown Inc. Now, mind you, the amicus brief is submitted by a non-party. So it wouldn't be these three parties here listed as the defendants. It would have to be someone outside that may have some sort of interest or ties connected to it. And I'm just asking questions here because she goes out of her way to continuously say that this case could bankrupt her. And so let's not forget that Candace Owens is reportedly worth $200 million between assets and her, just overall cash value, the revenue she's generating between her channel, what she generates on Twitter X, her sponsorships, her husband and his wealth they may have combined. She's valued at over $200 million. So for her to say this could possibly bankrupt me might not be a very accurate reflection of her true, assets and revenue that she has. So if the Macrons are suing for let's say they're asking for a judgment of $10 million, right? Would $10 million actually bankrupt Candace Owens or Candace Owens LLC or Georgetown Inc. and all sources of revenue, considering all sources of revenue coming in? Candace Owens made money off of the defamatory claim that Brigitte Macron was born a man and would die a man, and that she did not give birth 3 times, that her children are not her children. She generated t-shirts and cups and merch and mugs and all these things that generated a profit revenue based on defamation. And even with the exhibits they sent to her, she rejected it. She didn't accept it. She asked for the blood of the first lady because, deep down she knows that's what she would need. It's scientific evidence. And she can't get it because no one owes her that. And she showed malice intent by consistently doubling down on this. She did an 8-part series, got worldwide attention and views, made a lot of money from it. And somehow the judge is supposed to care that she might be bankrupted with this. Girl, please. Candace Owens, kick rocks, girl. Judge Rennie said, bye, Felicia. We're proceeding with this case. I'm sure that motion to dismiss will be denied because Candace Owens herself has filed a lawsuit in the state of Delaware with the Superior Court against USA Today. And her Candace Owens LLC is registered in Delaware. They're not fishing around for courts. They don't even want to have to do this, but it must be done. And I hope that others follow suit. So considering the fact that it could be a possibility, and I'm just, giving my opinion based on the information and the documentation we've reviewed so far, that this non-party person might be trying to advocate for Candace Owens or Candace Owens LLC or Georgetown Inc. because she keeps saying that this is going to bankrupt me. But she won't stop making the defamatory claims either. So, tough shit, Candace. No one cares. All right, so moving on to what we are really here for is, what is this court hearing going to occur? So what I'm looking at is the court calendar for civil trial court calendar for the week. This is starting from tomorrow's date, October 27 to 11/7 of 2025. So it covers the entire week, and every court has a court calendar. Every judge has a calendar that is available to the public that gives you information on the court cases that they're anticipating and that have been scheduled for the week. And you can see the date and the judge and the parties to the case. So I heard that her case is coming up this week. So I said, let me look at the court calendar and see what the hell is going on, because I'm staying on top of this case like white on rice or yellow or brown rice or whatever type of rice you eat. And there is no way this court case is going to start without me reporting on it, because I am the queen of this, Candace. Lady Luck Club's the queen of this. So let's start with October 27th. Tomorrow, Judge Adams is hearing a matter on the Davenport Investments LLC versus Toro Real Estate LLC. So that's not it. Let's see, October 29th. That would be Thursday. I think that's Thursday. Let's see. I'm gonna make sure I'm looking at my dates right. That would be Wednesday. On Wednesday, you have Judge Wallace has a hearing, HJVCO 1 LLC versus Open on Sunday LLC. So that's not it. And this is for Newcastle County, because that is where, of course, it's in the Superior Court of the state of Delaware for Newcastle County, because that is the county to which her LLC registration falls under. So let's go back to the docket so you guys can see that. You like, where you get that from, Lady Luck Club? You all see right here? Newcastle County. This address is here because if any court documents are served, it will be served by the Newcastle County Sheriff. And plus, like I said, her LLC is registered within the county of Newcastle. So that is why this court hearing is falling under this county. And that's typical with, state court. It's typically based on where the resident resides, or the petitioner or the defendant even resides, or like in this case, her LLC is registered. And yes, most cities and are broken down by districts or counties or however. So that falls under Newcastle County. And so, of course, we have this is page 2 we're on now on November 3rd. That is next week, Monday. Judge Jones is hearing a matter between Desmond and Trubani. So this is not her case. A lot of parties involved with that. Good grief. And then, of course, you see Judge Sheldon K. Rennie. This is the judge assigned to Candace Owens' case. I don't see a date here, but it's a 3-day trial. You guys can see at the bottom, but that's not the parties. So this calendar is from starting tomorrow, October 27th to November 7th. There's only a total of 4 cases on this report. So I'm not quite sure where anyone is getting that from. It would not be private. This would be public information, just like the court docket activity is public information. If there was a hearing to occur within this week, it would be on this calendar. So I'm not seeing it, especially under this judge. This is her judge assigned to her case. So why wouldn't, any court hearing that's scheduled be listed on this calendar? I don't know. So you can always search for court calendars by the court, by the county. You can also search by the judge. I'm not seeing anything under Judge Rennie calendar. I did search under Judge Rennie's calendar for this week, and there's nothing there. And plus, it would be here on this calendar as well. These calendars should match. You're not going to see a hearing for Judge Rennie for a civil matter on his calendar for this week, but not on this calendar for the week. There has to be some activity captured somewhere. All right. So if you guys want to check out the link to the information that I provided, will be in the description of the video as well. I always provide the resources because that's what you do as an independent journalist. You provide resources. So that's all the information that I have. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Make sure you guys hit the like button and subscribe to the Lady Luck Club. We are growing, and I am trying to get to 30K subscribers by October 31st, 2025, which is in 5 days. I need you all help to make that happen. So share this content, post it up, post it out, share it on Twitter X and everything else, so that information like this can be spread and people can know how to actually, accurately look up these court hearings and documents and stuff like that. So thank you all so much for tuning in. Hit the like button and leave your thoughts and comments below. How do you think this is going to go? You think Candace is going to win? I don't. Do you think Brigitte Macrons is going to win? I do. But either way, share your thoughts below. And until the next one, Lady Luck Club out. Deuces.